for Super Team Canada. We are here with Vybe Network. Reza from Vybe Network is a quantitative developer. He is the Quant as well as BD. And we're here at the Toronto Vybe Station getting ready for the Frontier Hackathon by Coliseum, which ends on May 11th. So teams are finishing up their 2-minute pitches, pitch videos, and putting the final touches on their product. And Vybe has kindly offered 1 month of free API access to Canadian Frontier builders. So I hope that you're here watching and ready to take advantage of this exciting opportunity. And also, Vybe is a Canadian-based startup. The founders are in Canada, particularly in Vancouver, and we're very, very proud of that. So everyone give Reza a warm welcome.
Hey everyone.
Hello.
Hey, so I guess I'll continue from here. Thank you for the intro. So I guess to start off, first I'll explain what Vybe is, what we do, and how we add value to the crypto community, specifically developers in the space. So as of 4 years ago, Vybe has been contributing substantial amount of data to the developer space in Solana, specifically due to the fact that we have the entire Solana blockchain cached since Genesis 2023. So with that being said, our data is used for a variety of use cases, specifically B2B and B2C. Specific use cases. And we also provide a B2C client-facing API and WebSocket, which basically summarizes everything that is needed in the space, or at least we hope everything that is needed in the space for folks from varying different use cases. Whether you're a router, whether you are building a simple proof of concept, like a charting platform, or whether, let's say, you want to aggregate data to determine where you could find alpha in the space to take action on it, whether it's finding profitable traders or top suppliers. So in a nutshell, what we've done in the space is we noticed players like Helios were killing it in the RPC space, for example. But we also realized that a lot of builders had to spend like several $100s, if not thousands of dollars a month, just on premium Helios plans for API calls. Because if you wanted to extract something so simple like which is the top market in a token, that would require at least 20 to 30 API calls with the knowledge of being able to script the parsers for each program and each protocol. Meanwhile, what we did was we found out what the need was in the space, and we made it's really simple in a way where folks can just call one API request on our backend and fetch the top market instead of having to basically achieve the same thing with 20 or 30 RPC calls through a provider like Helios. And we also noticed that the prices, a lot of our clients previously were fetching their prices from CoinGecko, and from, let's say, other providers that were not very specialized in Solana, but were, let's say, like, for example, with CoinGecko, they have prices for not just Solana, but many other chains as well, and the tokens within their chains. But we noticed that the quality for Solana may have not been as high as what many folks had expected because of the fact that they use not vetted markets. They just take the last price from any market, even if it's like a trade washed or manipulated one, right? So what we do is we went ahead and we've basically vetted most of our endpoints with vetted markets, meaning that if you fetch a last price for a user's wallet of, let's say, 50 or 100 assets, those 50 or 100 prices that will be pulled up will be fetched from pools and markets that are legitimate, that don't consist of only $1,000 supply with only 20 trades that show like a $200 or $300 PNL, when the reality is it's nowhere close to the case. So that's basically where we found an opportunity to saturate, and most of our clients, they use our services specifically for this. So if you were to, let's say, fetch last prices or candles, or let's say even a trades table with the last 1,000 or 10,000 trades, our data would show you prices that reflect the true price of the asset rather than just the most recent trade or the most recent prices from wash traded pools. So in a nutshell, that's what Vybe does, and we're also very happy to be a sponsor of this hackathon. I mean, I know for a fact our founders at Vybe, they were one of the founding folks in the Super Team Vancouver branch. They helped kickstart it, so it's really nice to see that we're collabing again, and we're hoping to add value with the community in Canada. But yeah, that's it from my end. Do you guys have any questions? I can hear you just fine. Yes.
Great. We can't see your screen if you're sharing it.
I'll share my screen right now.
Thank you. Do we have any questions? Not so far. Oh. What? Oh, people are excited.
Oh, lovely. Appreciate it. Yes, I'll make it worthwhile your time.
Thank you.
So just to confirm, can you guys see my screen? Perfect. Sweet. So the founders at Vybe, they did a huge favor, and they normally don't do this, but they gave away the advanced plan for free under this promo code Super Team Pro. And what the advanced plan entails is basically enough calls to build your proof of concept without having any issues, rate limits. All endpoints are also exposed, so you won't get paywalled if you try to use some of the demos that I'll demonstrate later today or later in this call. And you can also use our WebSocket. So if any of you folks are building a proof of concept that requires streaming real-time trades or real-time candles, this would be very helpful for you as well. But yeah, this is what we're offering. I'll go over all the value add, where we add value, and from there, if you guys have any questions, you can just let me know anytime. But yeah, just keep in mind as I'm demoing all of these examples, just know that after this call, when you go sign up, you'll get this package for free, which would be able to do everything that I showed you guys on the call. So for starters, yes, we are Vybe. What is Vybe? We provide token analytics, wallet intelligence, real-time trades, and market activity. So what does that mean? I'll start with the first demo. So the first demo I'm going to show you guys is Solana token stats and metadata. I have it open right here. You can call any mint address that you like. In this case, I put bonk. When I pulled it up, it gave me all of the token stats. As you can see here, the symbol, the decimals, the categories, and as well if it's verified. And it also pulled up the price and market cap, the supply and volume. And we provide, with every response, we provide a last updated value, so you know how stale the data is. This is pretty common. A lot of our clients use this. Why? Because they like to know what the price was 1 day ago and 7 days ago and add a percentage change to it. They also pull this up specifically so they would be able to know if they are building a swap, for example, how many decimals are needed. Or for example, if they're looking to, let's say, build a charting platform, they need to know values such as token volume or current supply. So this endpoint or this example is specifically for folks that are building a front-end or client-facing application that works with different SPL and token 22 tokens. One other thing to consider is with this repo, which just so you guys know, the code is completely public on our GitHub. You can go ahead and you can fork this repo and just put in the API key in the env environment file, and you should be able to run it as well. But basically what many folks use this for is also for fetching the last 1,000 trades. It aggregates everything based off of which markets they originate from, which protocols are the most common, and the most popular symbols are quote currencies that it's traded against. So in the case of Bonk, for example, you see that out of the last 1,000 trades, 480 of them are traded against wrapped Sol or Sol, with 320 being just set to 100, with the most popular, or I guess the holder with the most amount being ranked the first and going downwards. So you can see the supply here. And yeah, and I'll go over the top holders and top traders in the next examples. But this is the general endpoint, token stats and metadata, and it's super straightforward. You just plug and play with the API key that you generate, and this will give you a rough idea of what the token is, what markets it's on, who are the holders, and most importantly, who's profitable or who's making money on that token. So that's that. And again, here's the GitHub. Everything is public, so if you click on the demo button or the GitHub repo, it should take you to either pages, and that's that. The next one I'll go over real quick is the historical trades. So with historical trades, I used Bonk again as an example. I fetched it. You can define custom parameters, remote parameters, such as the start time and end time. Limit set to 1,000, but rest assured, if you set these pages, let's say to 5, then it would just fetch 5,000, for example, instead of just 1,000. So this is the historical trade repo. In this example, or in this demo, we allow users to pull up all the historical trades, not just pull them up to show folks what the last trades were, but also aggregate it to give users a better idea of how the markets are for that specific token. So in this case, it's very similar to the first example I showed you guys. The top 5 programs, top 5 pools, and top 5 quote mints, right? Everything is basically the same as the previous one. Nothing changes. The only difference with this is this gives you the luxury of being able to filter out all the trades based off of not just the markets, but also which quote currency it's traded against. So in this case, let's say if I wanted to let's say exclude these tokens, for example, right? These tokens, you can see they only have a count of 1, like Bonk to CHR or Mplex, for example, right? If we exclude these, you notice that the trade count here goes down from 1,000 to 995. So this, for example, gives users, and specifically quants, the ability to filter out noise. Why is this important? Well, because a lot of these tokens that it's traded against, they're tokens that are made in pools that have only 4 trades in the last like 1 hour or 2 hours, right? They're meant specifically for wash trading. So if you ever go, let's say on Colscan or GMGN, and you go on a wallet profile and you notice that some wallets have like a PNL of 10,000, and you click on it and you do more research and it's like a bonk that's traded against a random token like CHR, then that should be an indication that that's most likely a wash pooled trade, and it's just being traded in the form of with the intent of manipulating P&Ls and wallet profiles on platforms. But in this example, let's say I filtered out everything except for Solana and USDC, right? This would give us 814 out of 1,000 trades. But the result of this would be much more clean data relative to if you had all of these enabled. And I'll explain more the difference on the next example with the candles and why this actually makes a difference when you unselect these ones. But going back to here, what we've done is we went ahead and we added the authority for every trade, and in brackets, you see fee pair. So the fee pairs, how this works is if the fee pair is ever different from the authority, it means two things. One is the person or the trader is using a gas sponsorship, or let's say a swap platform that pays the gas for you, or the network fees. This is specifically useful for folks that don't have Solana in their wallet, but need to trade a token into Solana or USDC, but don't have Sol and don't have another wallet to send Sol from. So a lot of these platforms now, they've introduced a gasless feature, and that feature basically allows folks to trade without Sol. So anything you see here is most likely that. The second scenario would be in the case of MEV bots or spam bots. If you've noticed, a lot of those bots on SolScan, they would print up stuff like solcasino.gg, right? And they would print those in a lot of the wallets that are belonging to Coles, right? Like just do a transfer or like a quick swap, stuff like that. That our clients, they specifically use this code base for the sole purpose of providing a trades table for their front-end clients. And if, let's say, we were to enable other quote currencies, you can see that it's in yellow, like WIF. So this is more like a warning indicator. But yeah, this is the historical trade repo. There are no limits. The maximum is 1,000, but then you can, let's say, fetch it 5 times. So you would fetch, for example, page 0, and then you would do page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, etc. Or you can just do it in one from page 0 to page 5, with the max page being within at least 5. And yeah, that's that. And one last note to add is there are also other filters that you can add. If you wanted to, let's say, only fetch wrapped Sol or USDC, you would go ahead and put that in here. Or if you wanted to fetch the last 1,000 trades from specific protocols, let's say only Pump Fund or Pump Swap, you would put the address in here and then fetch the trades. And you can also export to CSV, etc. But I won't bore you guys too much with the trades. But yeah, this is the historical trades repo. Again, this repo is available as a public demo, and you can also clone the repo on GitHub and plug in the API key to the environment file and start testing it out. So that's that. We have 4 more to go real quick. The third one that I'll be demoing is the candlesticks, or OHLC. This kind of links to the previous note that I made about the vetted markets. Why? Because we give people the opportunity to generate candles from 3 different sources. One being our candles API, which is pretty legit. The second one is from the trades data, fetching the last 1,000 trades, or assuming it's just one page, right? And then forming the candles from the trades that are returned, or from a specific market. So let's say if you found a pool, let's say that one bonk pool that was USDC on Meteora. If you were to, let's say, just use that one, you can go ahead and put the market address in here, and it would fetch the candles just for that market. But in the case, let's say, of the OHLC candles, if you fetch it, it would be fetching it from our vetted markets. As you can see, there is a little bit of noise, but that's only because of the fact that we are doing some maintenance right now on the vetted markets component of our candles. So rest assured, this would be fixed within the next couple days. We're just right now performing some tests on our staging environment before we push it onto production. So yeah, don't mind this too much, but the biggest value add is being able to fetch and generate the trades from candles. This is specifically helpful for folks that want to, let's say, aggregate the data on their own and determine if there's any opportunity without having noise kind of ruin their insight on what the end result could be if they executed a strategy. So I'll just wait for this one to finish fetching. There's almost 6 out of 10 done, or 7 out of 10. When this is done fetching, you'll see the exact same candles that were pulled, or the exact same trades that were pulled in the previous example. They're also pulled here. However, what the only difference being is that the candles would also be generated from them. And here we have the ability to filter based off of, so our vetted candles endpoint basically uses the same logic, or the one that would be live in the next couple days. So as you can see here, no noise, very clean data. But as soon as, let's say, you start showing outliers and you start adding all those other markets that I showed you guys, and this is the same bonk token, by the way, you're going to notice a lot of funny business. So you see you have one really large wick down here, and you have a bunch of wicks here. So the whole importance of vetted markets is to eliminate this noise, whether you're someone that wants to deliver a trading platform or a charting platform to users, or whether you're a quant that wants to put in a bot to buy and sell when it hits certain levels. If, let's say, you're not using vetted markets and you run your bot, good luck. Why? Because you see a lot of these wicks right here, right? They would go ahead and basically execute a buy order when it shouldn't be, or it'd be executing a stop loss when it shouldn't be, because of the fact that some markets show a much lower price than others. Something client facing. For the folks that are quants that are looking to aggregate data for a trading bot, our historical trades API is more than enough. But now the question comes, how can you find alpha? And this is where I would be demoing the next one. So the next one is top token holders and whales. So first off, this market is a little bit bearish. So when you query any token, what you're going to find is most of the supply would be within the top 1,000 results that are returned. In the case of Bonk on Solana, when we fetch the last 1,000, or when we fetch the top 1,000 holders based off of supply, it turns out that 95.99% approximately of the 1,000 holders make up for the total supply or market cap of the token. This is demonstrated here. So in the case of Bonk, from the top, and I'll show you guys here, this is the same top 1,000 holders return the list, right? So this is basically, all these is just an aggregate of the response below. As you can see, the top 10 wallets from the list, which are here, hold 42%, 42.94% of the total market cap of Bonk. And then the top 11 to 100 wallets hold the remaining 39.73%. And then the top 100 to top 1,000 hold only 13% of the total supply. And then anything that's after the top 1,000 that wasn't returned in this list only holds 3.64% of the total remaining market cap. So this is specifically helpful for folks that want to see how a token is distributed, who the holders are, and which exchanges, or which, let's say, centralized exchanges the token is hosted on as well. Because a lot of folks, they trade off of the conviction that a token is hosted on centralized exchanges rather than just like a launch pad like Pump Fund. So for that reason, this goes ahead and it aggregates all the top holders, or based off of which entity they belong to. Also the holders by percentage of supply. So as you can see, out of the 1,000 holders that were fetched, 611 of them hold less than 0.01% of the supply. Meanwhile, you have only three that hold approximately 5 to 25%. And if I was to go down here, labeled versus unlabeled supply, this is also very important because as you can see, some rows here are labeled and some aren't. So out of the 1,000 wallets or holders that are returned, 28.15 or 28% of them approximately are labeled. Meanwhile, 68% of them are not labeled. And then the other 3%, they could be labeled or not labeled, but they weren't returned in the top 1,000 results. So it's really not that relevant anyways. So this would give you a good understanding to know that, okay, at least I would be able to determine where the 30% of this total market cap supply is. And that for a lot of folks is really important, because if you can label, let's say, a token that has a market cap of what is this here, 597 million bucks, right? To know that you can at least identify 30% of that 597 million is huge for most folks, and also trading desks, because then they would know, okay, at least the chances of insolvency or like a liquidity pop is less likely in compared to if, let's say, only 5% of the supply was labeled. Then that would be a bigger indicator that perhaps there might be some bad actors in the space trying to wash their wallets and spread their positions amongst, let's say, 500 or 1,000 different wallets that are not labeled or not belonging to any exchange. So this is the top holders example. Everything is on our GitHub. Again, if you wanted to access it, you would just click here, or to access the GitHub, you would click here. The next example is the Solana top traders. This one is pretty important because a lot of folks, they like using this for the purpose of finding alpha in the space. The top holders is mostly used as a due diligence or a conviction check. Meanwhile, the top traders is and the next check that folks would use to see who's profitable, if anyone is even profitable to begin with, and what the landscape for the token or the space is at the moment. So in the case of in the case of a cold trader, I went ahead, actually, I'll go ahead and I'll do this first. I'll sort it by token. So let me go ahead and fetch. Here I'm fetching Bonk again, but this time we're not fetching based, in this case, 30 days. So as you can see, out of the top 1,000 traders that it pulled, and these are the traders, by the way, 0.36% of them only engaged in 2 trades. Sorry, out of the total trades. So the total trades that we have is 68,000. So out of those 1,000 wallets that were just pulled, they all did combined 68,000 trades. Out of those 68,000 trades, only 248 of them were from users that did only 2 trades. Meanwhile, only 2,000 of them were done from users that did 3 to 5 trades. But if you, let's say, go down to here, you have 10,000 to 100,000 trades, right? You have 2 users that did approximately 28,000 trades. So this is why this piece is red, because of the fact that only 2 users consisted of almost 1/3 or almost half of the total trade count for all these 1,000 wallets combined. Meanwhile, you have and they only made combined $50. So this is a huge indication that these are market makers just trying to keep the chart alive by painting candles on it. And then you have here, for example, 10 traders that did between 1,000 to 10,000 trades. They only all combined made $2, and they generated $635 in volume, which is nothing compared to the 824,000. So these ones are probably lower end market makers or bump bots, things like that. But again, with both of these two combined, now you're almost at 70% of the total trade count just from the users that traded between 1,000 to 100,000. So what does this tell us? This tells us that only a small share of the total trades are done from people that are actually organic traders that do between 2 to 5 trades. You have some that do, let's say, between 6 to 100, but they only make up 8,000 out of the 68. So it's not really too relevant. So TLDR, if a quant was looking at this, they would right away know that this is a wash traded market made token rather than an organic token that has real users. And the trade count distribution, again, these are for all the same 1,000 users. You can see that 459 users traded between 3 to 5 times, 124 users traded 2 times, and only 2 traded between 10,000 to 100,000 times, or 10 traded between 1K to 10,000 times. But again, this is just an indication that these people only make up a very small piece of the pie. So again, wash traded. This is total volume, so I'll make this really quick. I'm not going to go on a tangent, but basically this is dividing traders, the same 1,000, based off of the total volume that was committed. So as you can see here, 893,000 out of 1 million was done between $10 to $100 PNL, meaning that from the 1 million volume generated, almost $900,000 of volume was used to generate $992 of PNL within 13,000 trades amongst 25 users or traders. So again, this screams wash traded. And again, I'm not blaming Bonk for this. It's just the market and the condition that we're in right now. So, you know, we just keep kicking the can until happier days come ahead. And again, PNL distribution, you can see that 97 out of the 1,000 wallets made between $0 to $2 cents. 274 out of the 1,000 wallets made between 2 cents to 5 cents, et cetera, et cetera. So this again is a huge indicator that the wash trading is involved, and these traders that are making these amounts of money are basically just market making or painting the candles, because you only have a very small portion, 25 and 2 out of the 1,000, that made between $10 to $100 or 100 to 1,000, which is demonstrated here. If you, let's say, look at the top 5 traders, you can see that in the last 30 days, they made 139, 107, 90, 87, 79, 73. And we have the total trades that they've made in the last 30 days. We also added the 24-hour trades in volume for that and the unrealized amounts, so you can have a better idea. We also added a field called return on volume. So it's basically, it's not a P&L because it gets total volume rather than just buy volume, but it gives you an indication of how much volume they're committing for the P&L that they're extracting from it. And it's pretty low for the most part. And if we were to scroll down, let's say to rank 200, now we're at the 46 cents realized P&L. And if we go all the way down to, let's say, 900, now we're at the 2 cents P&L. So if I was a trader that wanted to execute a trading bot on this page, now if I was to present something to clients, let's say develop a trading platform or a charting platform that would provide users with alpha, this type of data could be very helpful in making sure that your users are informed on, you know, what the proper steps are moving forward if they were to potentially invest in a token like this. So this is the top traders, wallets, and tokens example. Again, this is available as a demo on the same page. Also, we have a GitHub repo. You can clone it and plug in your API key and test it out. Sorry, these ones. And then we have the Solana wallet P&L profit and loss. This one is really helpful. So if you go on websites like CoolScan or GMGN, a lot of folks use those websites to check out Cools and their wallet profiles, like how profitable they are, what their positions are like, if they have open positions, if they're winning or losing, what their best tokens were, et cetera, how much volume they're using on the buy side or sell side, unique tokens, that kind of jazz. So what we've done is we basically wrap this all up into an endpoint where if a user calls it and it fetches and returns the results, it would give users these stats. So like who the cool is, what their Twitter handle is. And we currently have over, I believe, 10,000 different cold addresses that we've been parsing from various sources for the past year on like CoolScan, GMGN, Nansen, and Twitter, and we aggregate them and form our own database from them and track the wallets to see if they move funds to new ones, so then we can track those ones and add them to our list. But basically, our cool list is very comprehensive. So most folks that you search up, you should get these values like their image or their name or their Twitter handle. But let's say if you pull up a wallet that doesn't have that information, it would still return all of these data points that you would need. So some of them being like, for example, out of the total trades that were done, how many of them were winning or losing, and what was the average P&L or average profit or loss for the winning or losing trades. You can see the positions, how many positions are still open or closed. You can see the total unique tokens interacted with, the total trade counts, the average amounts, the daily P&Ls as well. So for each day of the last week, what was their P&L each day? And most importantly, we have the table. So this Cole obviously has a lot of assets, has more than 1,000 assets in his wallet. But basically, you can go ahead and see how much they bought and sold, what the gain was after the fact that it's closed, what the buy volume and sell volume was, the total amount of buys, total amount of sells. So for something like this would indicate like this would be more of an organic buy and sell, only 5 buys and 5 sells. Meanwhile, you have some of them that are 35 buys and 17 sells. That's kind of sketchy. But I've seen much worse. I've seen calls that have like 200, 300 buys and like 3 sells, very sketchy stuff. But basically, we provide all of this data so users, whether they're quants or they're looking to build something for clients, they would be able to actually get alpha from wallets and determine if copy trading specific wallets is actually worthwhile. We also have the latest transaction. So let's say in this case, if you want to see what the latest sell transaction was, pop it up here and you can see what it was. But yeah, for the most part, this is really good because we can track the gains as you see here. And it would give you a rough understanding of how this user is profitable on a per trade level. And for the positions that are open, you can see that they're open over here and what the unrealized P&L is on the remaining amount, which as you see in this case, there's 22 million that was bought, but only 19 million sold so far. So let's say there's 3 million left. On that 3 million Chadlon position, it's negative $20 unrealized P&L. So yeah, and you can go down the list and boom, now you're in the reds. And anything that's below 1x is obviously a loss. So 0.8x, meaning that they've lost almost 20% on their position since selling. And anything that's orange just means that it's, how do I say it? It's just that 1x. So like they didn't profit or lose, they just basically broke even. And yeah, this is the Solana wallet P&L repo. Again, this is all public. Repo is public as well. Works with the free API that you guys have access to. Just plug and play and test it out and see if you can, see if it can add value for whatever proof of concept you're trying to build. And yeah, I think there's one more that we'll go over. Token stats, top traders. Nope, that's it. Okay, so them. The one repo that I did not include here because we didn't finish yet was our swap endpoint. Our swap endpoint, again, it's also available on the package. Basically, a lot of folks are using Jupiter or let's say other providers to build their swaps. And once you start building on Jupiter or these other ones, you'll notice that you can't really make a transaction for less than $1 without having a negative P&L. Why? Because as you know, every time you use an aggregator, they make new PDA fee accounts for the fees, which ends up, eating into your profits. So if you're trading something, let's say that's $1, and you made 20 cents profit, well, you're going to be paying 40 cents in fees because of the fact that you're using an aggregator that is creating PDAs for fee accounts. So what we've done is, because of the fact that I'm a builder and that Vybe, we've built maybe 4 or 5 different use cases that involve swaps, we went ahead and we built this. So what this does is this uses our markets data to build transactions without any fees or any routers directly to the protocol. So let's say if you want to trade a pump fund token, if you were to, let's say, build that same transaction on Jupiter, what it would do is it wouldn't necessarily link you to the pump fund protocol. It might link you to a small pool that has some amount of money, but would give you like a slightly lower price of like 1/10%. But the end result in that is you'd end up paying 40 cents in extra fees for PDA fee accounts that you don't really care about. Like the benefit doesn't outweigh the cost of saving half a cent on the transaction because Jupiter says it's cheaper, but the end result is you're paying an extra 40 cents in fees. So we basically summarize this whole issue into one endpoint where users can call. They can basically put their wallet address in here, put in the amount, put in the input token address, output token address, and they can, if they want to, they can specify the protocol, right? These are the protocols we support, which basically makes up more than 80% of the total volume. And yeah, it builds the transactions for you, no problem. If you wanted to use a router other than Vybe, you would use Jupiter or Titan, right? But again, this would defeat the purpose of using this endpoint because of the fact that it would save you 40 cents, 50 cents, and would make trading with positions that are less than $1 actually profitable. And yeah, we also have an endpoint for building quotes. So if, let's say, you want to build a swap, but you need to see how much it is first before you put in the instructions to build it, you would just fetch it from here and get the latest price. Again, latest price is using the most vetted pools. So as a result, you're not going to get taken for a ride if you put in a price that's too low versus what the actual market price is and have it filled, but at a loss of 1 or 2%. This basically eliminates all of that tomfoolery. But again, I'm going to have the repo for this hopefully done by next week. So maybe I'll be in touch with the super team guys, and once that's done, if there's demand for it, they can share the link on the socials. But if you also subscribe or follow us on GitHub, as soon as we publish it and we make it public, you guys should get the notification. And yeah, it'd be really great for you guys to try out. But going back to some other points, we're also listing our APIs on Applify. As you can see, I'm in the process of integrating them all now. Most of them are on maintenance mode, but it's same deal. Fetch quote for swap or fetch Solana swap transaction here. You can build your transactions and do everything you need. But again, this is more for us just showing you guys where we're hosted other than our own API backend. We're also hosted on Applify, and we're also hosted on Rapid API. And again, all of our endpoints are here, but this is not really applicable for you guys too much because of the fact that you guys have the promo code for 100% off the Pro plan. So it shouldn't really matter too much anyways. But again, everything that we offer is not just available on our API, but also available through third-party API providers like Rapid API and Applify. And yeah, I guess I don't want to talk too much. I know we have 6 more minutes left. I wanted to see if anyone has any questions. And most importantly, just note that we also have X402 payment protocol support coming in the next few weeks as well. So if you guys are building any proof of concept ideas that use the X402 protocol, we hope that this would add value to whatever you're building. And you can also message us if you want early access, if you're really keen or if you're building something that requires it at the moment. But yeah, any questions, I'm all yours.
Hello, sorry.
You can stop sharing. Okay. Sure. Let me stop sharing.
Had a moment of difficulty with the mic here. We do have a question. One moment.
Thanks so much for the presentation, Reza. Super
Thank you.
excited to dive in and see what we can, what I can access and figure out through that API. I had 2 quick questions. One of them is, when does the free offer expire? Because I see this as not essential to what I'm building, but something that I would really like to dive into as the hackathon ends and continuing momentum thereafter. And then the second question that I have is, does your system and the data have any particular views or ways that we could use it to identify scams across Solana?
Yeah, good questions. The answer to your first question, as of right now, on promo.vybenetwork.com, where this is hosted, the promo, it shows May 18th. That's when the coupon or the code would expire, but you have until May 18th to use it to get your 1 month for free. So my best advice is if you're trying to build something or you're not sure if it's useful or not, please use the code by May 18th, because then you would have it until June 18th if you were to use that coupon on the last day, if that makes sense. And regarding your second question, yeah, like I didn't want to, I only had 40 minutes to really go over what we offer, like the bare bones stuff, because I was told to keep this very surface level. But if you notice that when I was showing you the top holders and the top traders examples, how I mentioned like that there was wash trading, or if I was a quant, it would be likely that this is not something I would invest in, et cetera, right? Just from the responses from those two endpoints on those demos, if let's say you were to tweak it a little bit, you would be able to determine if there are bad actors and whatnot. I just, for the sake of this demo, I did not want to make the examples too technical, because we do provide civil reports specifically for like for institutions, token issuers, or even trading desks that are looking to invest in a token, right? But need to know if the supply is consisting of, let's say, 4 or 5 bad actors that have like thousands of wallets linked to each other, but the results that are fetched from there should give you an understanding, like should be able to provide all the data points needed to know if a token is potentially malicious or market made or dead, and so forth. You can also message me anytime if you would like to know how you can get those data points from the existing responses that are provided from our endpoints. It's not a matter of getting more data, it's just a matter of knowing how to curate the data. That's all. Do we have any other questions?
Another hand. No other questions from the room. Let me just double check the stream chat to see if anyone has said anything there. Oh, sorry. I was eavesdropping on the people here. They were saying that they love the functionality and they're very
thankful for the free promo.
very thankful. That's awesome. We are live with Vybe Network. I'm Fib. Can they see me? Oh, hi. I'm Fib. That was awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah,
Pleasure.
big round of applause. Vybe is a extremely OG team in the space, Canada-based project that we can all be proud of. And, well, not even a project because they're a full-blown startup. But yeah, I mean, this is great. And if our teams would like to reach you or ask you questions, or anyone from your team perhaps, what would be the best way for our builders to go about doing that?
The easiest way would be to create a support ticket, just because I'm only one guy, right? And obviously I'm the quant that can answer the questions, but at the same time, I might get a little bit, because my Telegram is used for a lot of work stuff and I have so many messages. So the easiest way would be to message us on or send us create a support ticket. If, let's say, all fails and you can't hear from us, send a message on our Telegram group. If you must message me, let's say all the other avenues failed, you can message me on Telegram. My Telegram is @whenmoonres. I'll type it in the chat so then you can share it. But I would still recommend before anything to make a support ticket, because we have like 4 or 5 folks, including myself, that are on it. On top of that, message in the Telegram group. But again, if all fails, or if you have something that's like really specific or related to this call or my presentation, then you can shoot me a message on Telegram, whenmoonres.
If you do have other questions, you can also message me, and if they're relevant, I can also pass them along to Vybe, especially if I have a lot of overlapping questions, like a lot of the same question. We might as well get those answers all grouped together. Okay, well, I am going to bring us to a close then. If we're done with the questions, I will say, if you haven't created your project on the Frontier Coliseum Arena site, you should create your project as soon as possible. I'm not sure if it's too late. I would just jump in and make sure that you can do that. By now, Canadian teams should be working on their 2-minute pitch. And of course, we have this very exciting opportunity with Vibes. So if you want to like weave that into your product strategy and talk about how that could enhance what you're doing, that would be super cool to add to your pitch. And with that, I will say thank you so much. Follow Vibe Network, follow us, Super Team Canada, for more updates. And thanks again for the opportunity for our builders. Thank you, Reza, for joining us. And I'm excited to see what comes of this.
Yep. Thank you again for hosting us. And yeah, appreciate the opportunity. Good luck, everyone, on building your POCs. And if you guys have any questions regarding if Vibe may be a good fit or bad fit, whatever it may be, you can also message me and I can give you an honest response to if our endpoints fit in what you're trying to build. But yeah, good luck, everyone.
So much. Bye.
Pleasure.